Well, how y'all doing? Anyway, I've decided I'm going to go ahead and watch a full NASCAR season. I want to watch something older, so I decided to watch. I'm going to start with the 96 season. Everyone's like, oh, of course, 92 is the best because of the fucking, you got Elliott and Allison and all that. But anyway, I've seen too much of 92 anyway, so I decided to go ahead and watch a full season, so I'm watching 96. And I just got done watching the Busch Clash. And trust me, this whole preface will make sense to why I'm doing this beer review. So I just got done watching the Busch Clash. So, like I said, it'll make sense. We're drinking Busch right now. Not Busch Light, not Busch Ice, not Busch, not Golden, what was it? They had a Amber Lager, which is no longer available, sadly. I would kill to find some of that. We're just drinking good old-fashioned Busch, like your dad and your uncle probably drank. Anyway, this is made by, guess what, Anheuser-Busch, and it's 4.3% ABV, alcohol by volume. And the cool thing about the Busch products, nice head there, got about a, about a two-finger head, is it actually has an ingredients list. Brewed from water, barley malt, cereal grain, hops, and yeast. I'm going to assume the cereal grain is corn, although I know Busch and Budweiser, and I got a little bit of beer. I was holding the can like that on my jeans, so they're gonna be sticky, and that's gonna piss me off. So I'm probably gonna have to, after this review, switch out of my jeans because I'm OCD. Mud and grease doesn't bother me. Sticky shit like beer irritates me. But anyway, cereal grains, like I said, probably corn. Although I don't know if rice is considered a cereal grain. It may not. I don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised if there is rice in this, being that, like I said, Bud Light and Budweiser both have rice. But anyway, that head dissipated quite quick, and if you can't tell, this is pale as hell. I like that, pale as hell. I might make a beer and call it pale as hell. And it'd probably taste and look like Busch. Anyway, let's take a whiff of the Busch. I'm going to go ahead and save the female genital area jokes. Haha, Busch, pubic hair. We get it. I just had to mention it either way. But anyway, the smell. It's clean water. It's like clean water with like a dusting of like a cornmeal or a corn grits kind of deal. It's like if you took a glass of water and put a little bit of just a little touch of corn in there. And that's honestly about there is to the smell. Like I said, 4.3% alcohol by volume for a full, what's supposed to be a full flavored beer. This, like I said, isn't a light beer. That's real low. Like most of your basic American adjunct lagers start off about 4.5 up to about 5. You get ice territory, you get 5.5. Some of the malt liquors start about right there too. So anyway, we can assume this is going to be light. Now, I drink this a good bit. I'm going to go ahead and tell you, I got a bias towards Busch. This kind of became my de facto, I got a football game to watch, got a race to watch, I need something to drink with it. This is cheap. I can get it $22 a case. So, yeah. Sometimes the best beer is the most affordable beer. Anyway, let's take a swallow. And if you see me darting, my eyes darting back and forth, got the Falcons game on behind me. We're 26-10 over Dallas right now. 15 seconds left in the second quarter, so you can guarantee everybody in North Georgia is all of a sudden going to become Falcons fans again until our next loss. Then you ain't going to hear no one talking about the Falcons. That's the way it is with the Dirty Birds here in Atlanta. It's definitely a fair weather fan kind of team. I'm still sniffing. I'm going to go ahead and take another swallow. Mainly for the fact of there's not a whole lot, to comment on this beer. It's just, it exists. And for a basic American adjunct lager, sometimes it's better to have less flavor than more flavor. Because sometimes certain beers you get, the more flavor you get, the more off flavors you get. Whereas this is very clean, very refreshing, and mainly you just get it's like a very light white bread. I'm just getting a notification now. Braves over the Mets, top of the 6th, 1-0. Good to hear. But a very light white bread flavor. That's about it. You get like maybe a hint of the corn like you get on the nose, but overall, there's just not much here. But at the same time, there's not much to complain about. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you my main beers that I drink on a daily basis. Now I do change it with some crafts and some imports. Like I got one more bottle of Bitburger in the fridge. I might review it next, honestly. Like I might just finish this review and then start on that one. But it's Busch. I drink a decent bit of PBR because the same price as Busch. And like I said, about 22 a case. And Coors Banquet. I drink a decent amount of Coors Banquet, which is also very light like this, but has had more flavor. And frankly, the best way I can explain what Busch tastes like isn't, talking about a bunch of different notes and characters you get. You don't really get no hop character. You don't get much malt. You don't get even much adjunct. It's overall just a clean, light drinking beer. But the easiest way to really explain this beer is it's a cross between Bud Light and Budweiser in many ways. Like I said, it's a sweeter beer, kind of like Budweiser, but it doesn't sit on the palate as heavy. Like you do get an aftertaste. It's mostly just like a corn with a little bit of malt, just basic sweetness. It sits for a second and then it's gone. Whereas Budweiser, you drink a bunch of Budweiser throughout the night, you're going to get a little exhausted, if that makes any sense. You're going to get tired. It's going to weigh your palate down. Whereas this, you can drink these all day and just be like, oh, I got a little bit of a beer flavor on my tongue. But like I said, it's light, but it's not Bud Light territory where it's just like water. The whole joke of, how is having sex in a canoe and drinking American beer similar? It's fucking near water. That's, and this is kind of what it is, but it's not quite light beer territory, but I wouldn't even say it's quite just regular full flavored American beer territory. This is just kind of in the middle. Like I said, if you don't quite like Budweiser, but you don't like Bud Light, try Busch. It's definitely a decent choice as far as the cheaper beer goes. And if you don't even like it, it's so cheap. There's not much to complain about. It's not a fantastic beer by any means. You're not going to hear people, going around and saying, I just tried this beer called Busch, and it was, let me tell you. No, this is a drink it, don't think it kind of beer. And also, I'm gonna go ahead and mention I've quit smoking. I do have another review to upload that involves me smoking. I do smoke in it, but right now I'm sticking to the vapes. Just one day, I woke up one morning and I felt like shit. I couldn't breathe worth a damn, so I decided to quit smoking. So now I dip. I've been dipping, but I dip every once in a while. I get a bag of chewing tobacco, some Red Man too, and I vape. These little disposable deals, just because I'm not gonna lie, I'm a slave to nicotine. I need my nicotine, and for those who prefer or enjoyed my videos for the smoking, yeah, I do apologize. Hopefully you still stick around for the beer reviews. If you don't, I understand. But I had to mention that because a lot of people, for whatever reason, enjoy my smoking. But back to the Busch. Got a little bit left, about maybe 2 chugs left. Actually, it's more of a chug and a half. But I'm gonna save this last bit just to explain. Is it a good beer? For what it is and for the price, I think it's a very good beer, but you got to preface that with for the price. This is a very cheap, very economical beer, very light beer, which makes sense if you do research on Busch, formerly known as Busch Bavarian beer. It started in the mid 50s, I think 55 in the Midwest, and it was made to be a very drinkable light beer. For your farmers, for people working out in the field, things like that. People who are going to be out in the heat. It was something for them to come home to, an economical beer. For the folks who maybe Budweiser was a little higher on the totem pole. Busch, very light, very easy drinking, and very cheap. And it accomplishes that goal very well. And I would say there's always going to be some room in my refrigerator for Busch. It's not something, if you got a nice little dinner party with, real craft beer drinkers coming over, beer enthusiasts, you're not going to go, yeah, I got my Busch. You want some Busch? No, you're not. But if it's you and a couple buddies and the ball game's on, why you got to be pretentious? Just say, yeah, dude, I got beer in the fridge. You're going to open the fridge up and see Busch, and they'll go, that's beer, and I'm thirsty. So, sometimes it pays to not be pretentious because, like I said, saving you some money here with the Busch. Sometimes just shut the hell up and drink a beer. And like I said, I'm biased. And I've also noticed in a lot of my reviews, I don't think there's many beers besides like Natty Daddy and Earthquake that I hate. Like every beer, I can find something I appreciate about it and something I enjoy about it. So, maybe watching my beer reviews ain't the best kind of measurement for what's a good beer and what's not a good beer. But also taste is, of course, subjective. But I would say Busch, for what it is, I've said this many times, for what it is, it's a good deal. And for the fact that it's a good deal, I'll go ahead and give it a 7 out of 10. The worst thing you can say about Busch is, oh, it's cheap and it doesn't have a lot of flavor. Well, that's a lot of American Adjunct lagers, and Busch is on the cheaper side. So if you're not going to get a lot of flavor, don't bother paying a whole lot. And that's kind of my psychology with why I buy Busch. It's cheap, refreshing, and you can drink a whole lot of them. I know this review makes it sound like an alcoholic because, yeah, you can drink these all day. But that's what Busch is made for. You got to look at things within a category. That's one thing I like about Louisiana beer reviews. Hey, how you doing? He looks at beer and goes, well, for what it is, it's decent. It's not going to win an award for an Imperial Stout or an IPA because it's not that. But for me, for American Adjunct Lager, hell, I might give it an award or two, or even better, I might buy a case or two. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this review. Once again, sorry to all your cigarette enthusiasts out there. I do smoke every once in a while. I'm kind of transitioning into a social smoker. But anyway, sorry for y'all. If y'all want to stick around, it's up to you. Anyway, I do appreciate the views you've given me in the past, and the comments and likes and encouragement. Anyway, like, rate, and subscribe if you want to. I don't give a shit. Spade, neuter your animals, and kill your local pedophile, and make sure to have yourself a nice day and a pleasant tomorrow.